Welcome to our podcast. How to know if someone is jealous of you. Jealousy. It's one of those emotions people rarely admit to, yet it's everywhere, in friendships and families and workplaces. And if you've ever felt like someone was giving you strange vibes, maybe a backhanded compliment, a forced smile, or a little too much interest in your failures, there's a good chance jealousy is at play. Most of the time, jealousy doesn't announce itself. No one walks up to you and says, "I resent your success and wish I had what you have." No, it's subtle. It lingers in the tone of their voice, in the pauses between their words, in the way their eyes flicker when you talk about something you're proud of. It hides in seemingly innocent jokes, in sudden mood changes, in the way they downplay your achievements. So how do you know when someone is secretly envious of you? What are the signs? And more importantly, how should you deal with it? Because let's be honest, jealousy can be destructive, not just for the person feeling it, but for you too, if you're not careful. One of the clearest signs? They minimize your success. You tell them about something exciting. Maybe you got a promotion, started a new project, or achieved a personal milestone, and instead of celebrating with you, they brush it off. "Oh, that's nice." Or worse, they find a way to make it seem unimpressive. Well, anyone could do that if they had the right connections. Notice that. A genuinely supportive person doesn't try to shrink your joy. They don't feel the need to poke holes in your achievements. But someone who's envious, they can't help themselves. Then there's the strange shift in energy. You tell them good news and suddenly they look uncomfortable. Their smile is delayed, forced. Maybe they even change the subject quickly, as if your success is something they'd rather not dwell on. And then later, when something doesn't go well for you, you see a different reaction. They're a little too interested, a little too eager to hear the details of your struggles. They might not say it outright, but there's a hint of satisfaction in their tone, a certain lightness in their body language. That's not friendship. That's quiet competition. Another thing? Passive-aggressive comments disguised as jokes. "Wow, must be nice to have things handed to you." Or, "You're so lucky. Some of us actually have to work hard for what we have." Pay attention to those little digs. They might laugh after saying it, act like it's no big deal. But deep down, there's resentment. A person who truly supports you doesn't need to sneak in little stings like that. And then there's imitation. This one is tricky because at first it might seem flattering. You start something new, and suddenly they're doing it too. You develop a unique style and they begin mirroring it. But the difference between inspiration and jealousy-driven imitation is the energy behind it. When someone's inspired by you, they take what they admire and make it their own. When someone's envious, they don't just want to be like you. They want to outdo you. They want to prove to themselves and to others that they can do it better. Sometimes jealousy isn't loud. It's quiet withdrawal. You notice they start distancing themselves. They used to be engaged in your conversations, but now they seem indifferent. Not because they're busy, but because being around you makes them uncomfortable. Your growth reminds them of what they feel they lack. So what do you do when you recognize these signs? How do you handle it? That's where things get complicated. Because jealousy isn't really about you. It's about the other person's insecurities. You can't fix that for them. You can't make someone feel secure within themselves. What you can do, though, is set boundaries. Protect your energy. Surround yourself with people who celebrate with you, not just tolerate you. And maybe, just maybe, have a little bit of compassion. Because jealousy at its core is pain. A silent cry for validation, for a sense of worth. Sometimes people don't even realize they're feeling it. But that doesn't mean you have to shrink yourself to make them comfortable. Never dim your light just to make someone else feel better about their shadows. Now let's go deeper, because jealousy isn't just an emotion. It's a reflection of something bigger. Why do people feel it? Why is it so hard to admit? And most importantly, how do you rise above it without letting it pull you down? Jealousy is a complex thing. It's not just about wanting what someone else has. It's about what that desire reveals. It exposes insecurities, unmet ambitions, and sometimes a sense of unfairness. And the tricky part? People rarely recognize their own jealousy. They don't think, "I'm envious of you." Instead, they rationalize it. They tell themselves you don't deserve your success, that you got lucky, that you're not as great as everyone thinks, that you must have had some hidden advantage. And that's where the real danger lies. Because jealousy, when left unchecked, mutates. It starts as a feeling, but if it festers, it turns into resentment. And resentment turns into action. Maybe they start subtly undermining you, spreading little doubts about you in conversations with others. Maybe they start competing with you in ways that aren't obvious, but you can feel it. The shift in tone, the way they suddenly have something to prove. And in the worst cases, jealousy turns into sabotage. Some people will go out of their way to make sure you don't succeed. Not openly, no, that would be too obvious. But in small, quiet ways. They don't support you when they should. They withhold opportunities. They plant doubts in your mind. They disguise criticism as just trying to help, when really, it's meant to shake your confidence. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. When they sense jealousy, their instinct is to prove they deserve what they have, to explain themselves, to justify their success. But the truth is, no explanation will ever be enough for someone who's already convinced that life is unfair to them. So instead of trying to win them over, you have to learn to let go. Not everyone is meant to clap for you, and that's okay. But here's something people don't talk about enough. Jealousy isn't just a problem other people have. At some point, you've felt it too. We all have. It sneaks in when you see someone doing what you wish you could do. When someone reaches a milestone you thought you'd hit first. And if you don't face it, if you don't deal with it, it starts to shape the way you see the world. You begin looking at other people's success as proof of your own shortcomings. Instead of being inspired, you feel threatened. Instead of growing, you shrink. So here's a question worth asking. What do you do when you're the one feeling jealous? Because pretending it's not there won't make it disappear. The only way to break free from jealousy is to dissect it. To sit with it and ask, why am I feeling this way? What is this telling me about what I want? Because jealousy, at its core, is a mirror. It reflects back to you the things you desire but haven't yet achieved. And if you're willing to look at it honestly, it can become a tool for growth instead of a source of bitterness. The truth is, someone else's success does not take away from your own. There is no finish line where only a few people get to win. The more you understand that, the less threatened you'll feel when you see someone thriving. And when you truly embrace that, you stop worrying about who's jealous of you. You stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You stop looking sideways and start focusing on your own path. Because at the end of the day, the people who are meant to be in your life will never see your success as a threat. They will see it as proof that it's possible for them too. At the end of the day, jealousy isn't really about who has what. It's about perception. It's about how people see themselves in relation to others. And the ones who struggle with it the most, they're often the ones who feel stuck, who feel like life has left them behind. That's why the best way to deal with jealousy, whether it's coming from others or rising within yourself, is not with anger, not with resentment, but with understanding. Because here's the truth. Everyone is on their own timeline. Someone else's early success doesn't mean you're late. Someone else's win doesn't mean you're losing. Life is not a single road with only one path to greatness. It's a vast landscape with infinite ways to move forward. And the moment you truly understand that, jealousy loses its power. So if you ever sense that someone is envious of you, don't let it shake you. Keep going. Keep growing. And if you ever catch yourself feeling jealous of someone else, don't push it away. Use it. Let it show you where your deepest desires are. Let it remind you that if you want something badly enough to feel jealous over it, then it's worth pursuing for yourself. Because in the end, the only real competition is between who you are today and who you have the potential to become. And the people who truly win in life, they're not the ones who tear others down. They're the ones too focused on building themselves up to ever worry about what anyone else is doing. Thanks for your time. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. Also, feel free to share your thoughts or any questions you have in the comments below.